Hey there, I'm James, you're watching Accounting Stuff, and in this video I'll show you how to run payroll in QuickBooks Online. We'll use a small company with 5 employees including salaried and hourly staff, with commission payments, health insurance deductions and 401k contributions. I promise it's not as hard as it sounds. This is the QuickBooks Online dashboard. For this example, I've set up a sample company called Mystery Inc. And if we head into settings, then subscriptions and billing, you can see that we're using QuickBooks Online Plus with QuickBooks Payroll Elite. If you're new to QuickBooks or don't have payroll set up yet, I would recommend watching my video on how to set up payroll in QuickBooks Online after this one. You'll find a link to that in the description below. How do you view employees in QuickBooks Online? If we head over to the navigation bar, hover over all apps and open the payroll menu, we can click on employees. And here you can see that Mystery Inc. has 5 employees, each with a different type of pay. First, we have Daphne Blake, the company's operations manager. Daphne earns a salary of $85,000 per year, and she also receives a commission whenever the team solves a case. Next is Velma Dinkley, the lead research analyst, who earns a salary of $75,000 per year. Then we have Fred Jones, the managing director, on a salary of $120,000. Daphne, Velma, and Fred all have health insurance and contribute to a 401k, which means we'll also see some deductions when we run payroll. Next up is Shaggy Rogers, who's a field investigator. Shaggy is paid $28 per hour, and because he works casually, we'll need to enter his hours manually each pay run. And finally, we have the company's security specialist, Scubert Du, who earns $22 per hour and works 40 hours per week by default. Both Shaggy and Scooby are eligible for overtime pay at 1.5 times their base pay rate. Mystery Inc. pays its employees every other Friday by paper check, which is convenient because this is a sample company. But you could also set up direct deposits by adding the employees' bank details. With that out of the way, how do you run payroll in QuickBooks Online? The quickest way is to hover over the Create button in the top left corner and then select Payroll. This takes you straight to the Run Payroll screen. You can also get here from the payroll overview by clicking Pay My Team. Either way, you'll end up here. At the top, you'll see the pay period and the pay date. These determine which hours are included in the pay run and when employees will be paid. So it's a good idea to double check these before processing payroll. Below that, you'll see a list of all employees included in the pay run. If you need to exclude someone from this payroll, you can simply uncheck the green check mark next to their name. In the table, you'll see columns for salary, regular pay, overtime, sick pay, vacation pay, and commissions. QuickBooks automatically calculates the total hours and gross pay based on the information entered here. Now let's enter some details for this pay run. Earlier I mentioned that Daphne receives commission whenever the team solves a case. And this week they cracked one, so we'll enter a commission of $500. Scooby also put in some extra hours helping investigate, so we'll add 4 hours of overtime for Scooby. Next we have Shaggy, who is paid hourly. Over this 2-week pay period, he worked 82 hours in total, so we'll add 80 regular hours and 2 hours of overtime. If you're using the QuickBooks Workforce app, employees like Shaggy can log their own hours using timesheets, and those hours will automatically appear here when you run payroll. Finally, we can add a memo to Shaggy's payline. This can be useful for recording notes about the payment. As we enter this information, you'll notice that the totals at the bottom of the screen update automatically. This lets you sense check the numbers before continuing. Once everything looks correct, the next step is to preview payroll. This brings us to the preview payroll screen. At the top, QuickBooks gives us a summary of the entire pay run. We can see the total payroll cost is $19,635.13, which includes gross pay of $15,485.23, and employer payroll taxes and contributions of $4,149 $0.90. On the right-hand side, QuickBooks also shows how this payroll will be paid. Because we're using paper checks, the payments will be handled manually. If direct deposit were enabled, QuickBooks could automatically withdraw the funds and distribute the payments for us. Next, we can review the employee details. For each employee, QuickBooks shows the total hours worked, the gross pay, employee taxes and deductions, net pay, and employer payroll taxes and contributions. For example, we can see that Daphne Blake has a gross pay of $3,769.23. After taxes and deductions, her net pay comes to $2,449.43. If you want to see exactly how that number was calculated, you can click on the little magnifying glass next to her net pay amount. This opens up the paycheck details screen, where QuickBooks shows a full breakdown of the employee's pay. You can see the different components that make up the paycheck, including salary and commission, employee taxes, employee deductions like health insurance and 401k contributions, and employer payroll taxes and contributions. This screen is useful if you ever need to review or explain how a paycheck was calculated. Once you're finished reviewing the details, save and close the window to return to the preview payroll screen. Oh, and like I mentioned earlier, you can also see the memo that we added for Shaggy, which will appear on his pay stub. At the bottom of the screen, QuickBooks also shows the totals for the entire pay run. Before submitting payroll, you can also click Preview Payroll Details in the bottom right corner. This opens a detailed report showing the full payroll breakdown for every employee in the pay run. Here you can see each component clearly laid out. At the bottom of the report, QuickBooks shows the totals for the entire pay run, including the total pay, total deductions, total taxes, and the overall net payroll amount. This report is also printable, which can be useful if you want a physical record of the pay run or need to share a breakdown with a colleague or accountant. Once you're satisfied that everything looks correct, simply close the report to return to the Review Payroll screen. Now we are ready to submit payroll. Everything looks correct, so we can click Submit Payroll. QuickBooks will now create the paychecks for each employee and record the payroll transactions in the company accounts. If you're using direct deposit, QuickBooks can also schedule the payment withdrawals and payroll tax payments automatically. Because Mystery Inc. is paying its employees by paper check, the next step is to enter the check numbers for each payment. You can type those directly into the check number column next to each employee. After that, you can click Print Pay Stubs to generate the pay stubs. These can be printed out and shared with employees so they can see the breakdown of their pay, taxes, and deductions for the period. Employees can also view their pay stubs through the QuickBooks Workforce app if you've set that up. Now that payroll has been submitted, you might want to review the results. How do you run payroll reports in QuickBooks Online? To do that, head over to Standard Reports, then scroll down to the Payroll section. Here you can find the Payroll Summary Report. You can see the details for each employee along with the check number and pay date. Another useful report is the Payroll Summary by Employee. This is more detailed and shows exactly how each paycheck was calculated. Finally, there's the Payroll Tax Liability Report. This shows the payroll taxes your business owes to federal, state, and local tax authorities. This report is useful for keeping track of payroll tax obligations and making sure that everything gets paid on time. All of these reports can be exported or printed, which is useful for sharing with accountants or keeping payroll records. If you're new to QuickBooks Online and want to try it out for yourself, click the link in the description below. That will get you the latest discount and it helps support this channel. And if you'd like to learn how to set up payroll in QuickBooks Online from scratch, I've put together this video which I think you'll find useful. Click to watch it and I'll see you there.